Hey guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience?
Hey, I'm Steve Argo. I'm with ESAB, and I run the global equipment business.
I'm Doug Smith. I'm with ESAB, and I'm product business manager for North America.
We're here and we're showcasing the Rebel. Why don't you tell people, why do you think the Rebel has been so successful?
That's a great question, Chuck. And the reason why the Rebel's been so successful is because of all the time we spent with the end user, the welder himself, learning what his problems were, bringing those problems back into the design and solving them. Now, if we go through the biggest problem that we identified, it was when the welder goes out into the field and he doesn't know what he's going to encounter. So we decided to drive the unit to provide the performance that he needs to hit any or to identify any problem that he faces.
Yeah, that's a great point, Steve, because with this type of machine, you can run anywhere from 20 gauge all the way up to 3/8. But when a guy's not used to welding down to a lower range, he's afraid he's going to burn through the material. He's a little hesitant of adjusting the parameters correctly. So what the beauty of SMIG is, allows him to fine-tune those parameters very quickly, so he has no worry of going from the low end of what the machine is capable of doing all the way to the high end with a couple adjustments.
The other part of the performance that we delivered is we have true multi-process performance. And what we mean by that is that if you're welding in the MIG mode, the stick mode, or the TIG mode, you're welding in best-of-class performance in each of the processes.
Because that was the main point. The biggest thing they said, if you're going to give me all three processes, they have to weld just as good individually.
That's awesome. One of the things we were talking about earlier is, why is the Rebel such a great value?
The Rebel is a great value primarily because we solve the user problem at every level. We just talked about the multi-process capability. That was one huge hurdle in the marketplace to deliver all three processes in a best-of-class fashion. The other is also on the portability element of it. It allows the user to easily lift it up and put it into the back of a pickup truck. If you look at most of the units in the field today, they have one big kilo handle on the top, and they can't really lift it and get it into the back of the pickup. And the user walks around to the back of the pickup truck and he opens it up, he doesn't have a handle to grab, he pulls it by the cord and creates problems. What we did was we provided the handle, so whether he's picking it up, putting it in the pickup truck, or pulling it out, he can do it all.
The other great thing is its versatility, multi-voltage. So it can operate all the way down from 90 volts AC all the way up to 270 volts. So no matter what you're running into out in the field or in an old building that you're doing some repair work, the machine's going to be able to handle the fluctuation of voltages off the line.
Steve, we were talking earlier, and there was a misconception that the dirty power you encounter is just in generators. That's not just true, is it?
No, that's not true at all, Chuck. If you look at all the old infrastructures around the country, typically in the Northeast, but you have cities like Chicago, New York, Boston, and they all have what we call old power. And typically they don't have a power that really delivers at the receptacle 120 volts. So you wind up dropping down to 100, possibly even 90. And what the Rebel does is the Rebel allows the unit to operate even when the power drops to those low levels. And you can even operate and run a 6010 electrode at down to 90 volts.
Hey, and what are some of the benefits? People say, I've never heard of a 6010 electrode because they're not used to it if they're not a professional welder. But you were telling me about some farm applications where that would be helpful.
Absolutely. If you ever go out to a farm, you see the equipment. The equipment's been laying around outside for years, and the equipment gets rusty. And what happens is then it breaks, and the guy needs to go and fix that piece of equipment. And instead of trying to clean off all the rust, he uses a 6010 electrode that runs a little hotter than normal, and it burns right through the rust. And that capability is normally done with bigger equipment. We actually put that capability into the Rebel, which is a much smaller compact unit.
Hey Doug, we were talking, and I want to pick up on that point. It's a compact unit. Everybody takes a look at a compact unit and they say, oh, this is a hobbyist unit. And you said,
No, it's not a hobby unit. Don't let the size fool you. So it's an industrial unit, so it can handle industrial applications. So when I say industrial application, it runs flawlessly 030 wire, 035, and even up to 045. So it can handle what you throw out in an industrial application setting.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned SMIG, and SMIG's a great start, but a lot of people say, again, picking on that, oh, is this a beginner unit? But SMIG, there's another unit, there's another mode that the Rebel operates in for the professional guy, but the two kind of work together.
Yeah, so you can go into advanced settings, so it will unlock all those additional features that you might want to adjust, like inductance, for instance. So if you want to fine tune your weld parameters because you like a little bit hotter weld or a little bit colder weld, you have the capabilities of doing that going into an advanced setting.
And before the beginner, something unusual, parts, owner's manuals. Steve, tell them about that in the Rebel.
Well, that's another wonderful thing. So we all know that the user loses his owner's manual. And we all know that when he needs to buy spare parts or wear parts, he doesn't know what the numbers are. What we've done is taken all that information and putting it right into the user interface display. So if he needs it, he can go in, just go to the icon that says maintenance and service. He can pull up the information and either order his spare parts or identify what he needs to do to operate the welder.
There's really a lot of information available through that TFT display, isn't there? In addition to the owner's manual, you talked about some of the settings. That's also true for the other processes besides MIG, isn't it?
Yes, so parameters are loaded in there, so if you keep, no one remembers the parameters. So we took that and everyone throws away the instruction manual, so that's also where it's located. So we loaded all that information that you usually don't think about when you actually need it at that time. It's all built into the TFT display. So that's the beauty with the next generation of what ESAB's bringing to the welding industry with TFT displays.
I just remembered one other point. We also have 4 memory slots for each process.
That's a good point.
So if you happen to set, if you're in the manual mode, and you happen to set your parameters, and you don't want to forget those parameters, you can save them in memory.
And that's 4 for each process, isn't it?
4 for each process.
Awesome. Hey, we're going to start to wrap it up here. One of the things that we've heard today is you really have to experience the Rebel,
right,
just to understand what the performance is like. How can they find out about that?
A lot of times when we talk to guys about the Rebel, they don't really believe it. So we challenge them to come out and find the truth of Rebel. Come down to what we call the Rebel on the Road tour. We're traveling the country. We're showing up at welding distributors near you. Right now we're in Chicago. We're having a great day. A lot of people are coming around checking out the Rebel. But if you're not in the Chicago area, you go on to esab.com/rebelontheroad to find a distributor near you that's an open house coming up. You can register, let them know that you're coming, and they'll have the Rebel ready to go for you.
Awesome. And we're going to be here tomorrow. And so if anybody has any questions, would they be able to post them to Facebook? Can we answer those?
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate your time here talking about the Rebel.
Thank you.
Thank you.